I personally feel that 2021 was a little bit disappointing when it came to all the new trail running shoes that hit the market. Yes, there was a few good ones along the way that I really enjoyed running in, but there was quite a few disappointments as well. However, 2022 is looking a lot more positive, so let's dive into the video and find out all about the new trail running shoes that we're really excited about that are launching this year. Welcome back, folks. I'm Lloyd Purvis and this is Run4Adventure. Hope everyone out there in YouTube world has had a great start to 2022. And in today's video, we're going to be looking at all the new models of trail running shoes that are going to be hitting the market this year. We've got shoes from Salomon, Altra, Saucony and many more. But let's get into it. And first up are two new models of trail running shoe from the deeply cushioned lightweight brand of Hoka. Now, I've got quite a lot of history with the first shoe on our list, and I've run in every model that's ever been produced, from the slightly disappointing and very unstable original version all the way through to the third iteration that I really loved. What a brilliant trail running shoe. But I did feel a little bit let down by the Speedgoat 4. It didn't quite fit my foot shape as well as the Speedgoat 3, and I did actually stop running in the Speedgoats after that initial review because I just didn't feel connected to the shoe. However, I passed it on to a good friend of mine. He's done hundreds of miles in it and he loves the shoe, so at least someone got some good mileage in it. So I really do have high hopes for the new Speedgoat 5, and there has been quite a few big changes made to the new model. Firstly, a completely redesigned upper construction. So fingers crossed that it's going to give my foot shape a slightly better fit, a slightly better lockdown around my midfoot. And there's also been a bit of weight saved, which is always a good thing in my book. The new Speedgoat is going to retail for £130 in the UK, so that is a £5 increase when you compare it to the previous version. It's still going to run off a 4mm offset, so we got a stack height of 33mm under your heel and 29mm under your forefoot. Weight-wise, in a men's shoe is going to weigh in at 291 grams or 10.3 ounces, and in a women's shoe it's going to be 242 grams or 8.5 ounces. Really happy to say we're still going to have that super sticky Vibram Mega Grip rubber on the outsole, but the lug pattern and lug layout has been slightly redesigned just to offer a bit more traction on loose ground. When it comes down to the upper, they've used a double jacquard engineered mesh, so that means it should be super breathable, but also maybe a lot plusher and softer than the upper on the Speedgoat 4. Good to hear that Hoka have also used a lot of recycled fabric within the upper construction. The heel also gets an overhaul, so a little bit deeper in the back end of the shoe now, and you can see we've got a slight flare on that heel as well, so very similar to what you'd find, say, on a Clifton 8 or a Mach 4, just trying to alleviate any pressure or irritation or rubbing on the Achilles tendon. The midsole has exactly the same stack height as on the previous version, but this time round Hoka have managed to utilise a lighter compound in that midsole, so saving about ½ ounce when you look at the overall weight of the new Speedgoat. If the shoe is released on time and there's no delays when it comes to manufacturing, it should be coming out any day now. So really excited, really looking forward to getting a pair on my feet and getting out and hitting the trails. Another new trail offering from the brand is a brand new model of shoe to their trail lineup, and it is the Tecton X, and you've guessed it, this is a plated trail running shoe. So it looks like Hoka are going to be joining the trail carbon fiber plated party in 2022. The shoe is going to retail in the UK for a quite hefty £170. It's going to run off a 5mm offset, and it's going to be constructed using Hoka's dual compound ProFly midsole. Housed within that midsole is Hoka's parallel carbon fiber plate technology. You get a 4mm lug depth on that outsole, and you also get a nice helping of Vibram Mega Grip light base rubber. So just as sticky as the standard Mega Grip, but a lot lighter, so saving on weight. So the Tecton comes in at a crazy weight of 240 grams in a men's shoe and only 196 grams in a women's. Pretty impressive stuff when you think of all that deep cushioning in the midsole. It's pretty expensive at £170, and it's got a carbon fiber plate in the midsole. Anyone that's followed the channel knows that when I've tested and reviewed carbon fiber plated trail shoes that I haven't really been blown away, and I'm just not sure I want that in my trail shoes. So I'm not sure we're going to be getting a pair of these and testing them out of the channel, but it is due for release in the UK around May time this year. Next up is a brand that I've spent a bit of time in out on the trails, and I actually reviewed their Timp 3 last year. Unfortunately, it did leave me a little bit disappointed. The shoe actually felt very comfortable to run in, and I was really impressed with the level of cushioning in the midsole. Unfortunately, it just started to fall apart after the first 7-mile run, so durability definitely was an issue. It looks like Altra in 2022 are having a big push, and they are launching some very exciting shoes that are drawing a lot of attention. First up is 2 brand new models to the Altra trail running lineup, and it is the Mont Blanc Elite and the Mont Blanc Boa. Both shoes have been designed with racing long ultra distances in mind, and I think you'll agree that they look super cool and very exciting. So the Mont Blanc Elite is aimed at the racing market. So it comes with a super lightweight, very breathable strip back upper construction. You've got some nice printed overlays around that midfoot just to offer you a bit of structure so you get a nice lockdown, but also to help with durability. And then finally you get a nice rubber bumper around the toe box just to offer a bit more protection from trail debris. As far as midsole and outsole goes, the shoe comes with an Ergo Max midsole, so offering you deep levels of cushioning to remain comfortable over long distances, but remaining lightweight and super responsive. Onto that really important outsole, looks like the shoe's got quite an aggressive lug layout and good depth to those lugs, and we're seeing another new trail running shoe for this year that is utilising the brilliant Vibram Mega Grip light base rubber. So super sticky rubber, but then having all those lightweight properties of light base. The shoe's going to retail for around about $180, so pretty pricey, and it's due to launch in March 2022. So we're not going to have to wait long for this one, guys, and we are definitely going to be getting a pair of these on our feet and giving them a thorough testing at the channel this year. Moving on to the Boa version of the Mont Blanc shoe, and the midsole and outsole are actually identical to the previous version mentioned. Obviously, the changes come when we look at the upper. The biggest change being that we've got the addition of a Boa system, so actually a double Boa system on that upper. Then you've got 4 independent fingers that wrap around that foot, giving you a very personalised fit and custom lockdown around your midfoot in the shoe. As well as the Boa system, Altra have opted for a booty upper on this version, so no traditional tongue in the shoe. It is literally just a one-piece stretchy sock construction. This really should give you a very precise fit around your foot, so you should feel super connected when running on technical trails quickly. As you can imagine, having that double Boa system, this isn't going to be a cheap trail running shoe. It's due to retail for around about $210, and it's going to release around the same time, so March this year. A very interesting looking trail running shoe. I really love it when brands try new things and different innovations. So another exciting trail running shoe hitting the market this year. And last up from the Altra brand, there's also going to be some big updates to the Timp franchise with the Timp 4. I'm hoping that the shoe is going to run and feel like the Timp 3, but have a lot more durability. And I think you'll agree, it's a pretty good looking shoe. Up next is one of my favorite trail running brands over the years, and it is Salomon, and we're going to see some massive changes to their trail running lineup this year. I actually got my hands on a few of these shoes the other day in store, and it got me all excited about getting hold of them, getting them on our feet and getting out on the trails in them. And first up is a soft ground version of a shoe that already exists in their lineup, and it is the S-Lab Pulsar SG. I heard lots of great feedback from you guys, and I've got a few friends that run in this shoe and they constantly rave about it. But I did hear a few people saying they were slightly disappointed in the level of grip and traction from the outsole. So it's great that Salomon have listened and come up with this slightly deeper lugged soft ground version. The S-Lab Pulsar SG is going to retail for around about 180 euros. Weight wise, it's going to come in at a crazy 194 grams. It's going to still run off a 6mm offset, but you're going to get a much more aggressive 4.5mm lug pattern on that outsole. This means it should handle those wet, muddy British conditions a lot better than the standard version. The upper is still going to utilise matrix fabric, and it's going to still carry that sort of sock-like construction. We've got Salomon's brilliant speed lace system in there as well. It really does look like it's a shoe that's going to be super lightweight, feel very responsive and exciting to run in. So we're definitely getting a pair of these bad boys and testing them out. But it doesn't stop there when it comes to trail offerings in 2022 from the Salomon brand, because we're also going to be getting the Pulsar Trail Pro and the Pulsar Trail. Both shoes are going to be constructed using a deeply cushioned Energy Surge rockered midsole, very similar to what is found on the very successful Ultra Glides, but both shoes will have a TPU plate housed within that midsole. So glad to say that Salomon haven't gone for a carbon plated option. They're going for a slightly more flexible, slightly more forgiving option of a TPU plate. The Pulsar Trail Pro is going to retail for $150, and it's going to weigh in at 270 grams in a men's US 9. It's going to run off a 6mm offset, so we've got a stack height of 31mm under your heel and 25mm under your forefoot. When it comes down to the all-important outsole, as far as I can tell, it's got a 4mm lug depth, and that outsole is clad in Salomon's Contigrip MA sticky rubber compound. It looks like the shoe's kind of developed to be the training partner of the lighter weight, more stripped back, more racier S-Lab Pulsar SG. As far as the Pulsar Trail goes, it looks like a lot of the features from the Pro version are going to carry across to it when it comes to the midsole setup. But this time round, that energy blade housed within the midsole is going to be slightly softer and slightly more flexible. It is going to weigh in a little bit heavier at 280 grams in a men's US 9. Still going to run off the same 6mm offset, and both shoes are going to carry Salomon's speed lace system. The trail version of the shoe is going to come in at a slightly cheaper price point of $130. We are still waiting for a release date on both models, but it does look like these two shoes are going to be replacing the Sense Pro 4 and the Sense Ride 4 in the existing Salomon Trail lineup. We've got lots of new offerings from the Saucony brand, so we've got some exciting new updates to existing models, but there's also some new models coming to their trail running lineup. First up, one of my favourites. I've been really impressed with the previous two versions of this shoe, so it is the brand new Peregrine 12. I found the Peregrine 10 and 11 super consistent on most terrains and in most weather conditions, but the new shoe has had a lot of big changes, so it's going to be really interesting to see how the Peregrine 12 performs. It's going to retail for around about £120 here in the UK, but one of the biggest changes to the model has to be weight. So it's now going to weigh in at a much lighter 275 grams in a men's shoe and only 235 grams in a women's. It is still going to run off a 4mm offset and have a full Power Run midsole with a Power Run Plus sock liner just to give you that slightly plusher feel underfoot. When it comes to the brilliant outsole on the Peregrine, there has been a few subtle changes here as well. So the lug layout is going to get a bit of a redesign, but I'm glad to say it still carries that very versatile 5mm lug depth. And the outsole is still going to be utilising Saucony's super sticky Power Track rubber. you've still got a rock plate housed within that midsole, but this time round it has had a bit of a redesign as well. So it is going to offer you more protection than before, which is pretty unbelievable because the rock plate in the existing Peregrine is spot on, but it's also going to be a bit more flexible this time round, so it's not going to compromise the performance of that midsole when running on technical terrain. Moving on to the new upper, and there's been quite a lot of work done here as well. So they now use a lighter, more breathable fabric in that construction. We got some modified overlays for a bit of structure support and durability. The tongue is still going to be gusseted within that upper, so still going to give you a nice precise fit and lockdown around your midfoot, and you get a nice bit of protection from trail debris with a toe bumper. I think it's great. There's been a big weight saving in the new Peregrine 12, but losing almost 30 grams of weight compared to the existing model. I just hope the shoe hasn't been too stripped back. It should be launching anytime now, so we're definitely going to be getting hold of a pair and bringing you guys our first impressions. Moving on to another big update from the Saucony brand, and it is their new Xodus Ultra, previously known as the Xodus 11. The Xodus trail shoe's always been a pretty solid performer, but I personally think it's been held back by weight. It's always been a pretty heavy and a bit of a clunky shoe to run in. That is all about to change with the Ultra version because it's been on a pretty big diet. So now weighing in at 292 grams in a men's shoe and 265 grams in a women's, that's almost a 40 grams weight saving when you compare it to the current Xodus 11. Other big changes to the shoe is that it now runs off a 6mm offset instead of a 4mm offset, and you've got a slightly shallower lug depth of 4.5mm when you compare it to the existing model. The Xodus Ultra also comes with a redesigned outsole, so you've got that super sticky Power Track rubber clad in the outsole, but it now comes with a 3-piece design, and this has been set up to try and save a bit of weight but also to increase performance when it comes to flexibility. But I think the most exciting changes come when we dive into the midsole construction, because we've got a completely reworked dual compound midsole now. So in the core of that midsole is the high performing, high energy returning Power Run PB compound used in the Endorphin road shoe lineup, and then that is wrapped in Power Run just to sort of act as a support frame to give you some guidance and stability. So what you're left with is a shoe that's very stable and very comfortable underfoot. The Xodus Ultra really has been designed to handle those long distances over a big mix of terrains, and I personally think it's looking like it's going to be the best version of this shoe today. So existing fans of the Xodus franchise, I think you're really going to like these changes that are going to be made to the shoe this year. Last up from the Saucony brand is a brand new shoe to their trail running lineup, and it is the Endorphin Edge. Now, a lot of people are saying this is what the Endorphin Trail should have been in the first place when it launched last year. I've actually grown to quite enjoy running in the Endorphin Trail. Once I got over that initial disappointment of it not being this super light responsive trail shoe, I actually find it pretty comfortable, especially when I'm going out for a long steady run on a big mix of terrain. The Endorphin Edge isn't an update to the Endorphin Trail. It's going to be a completely separate shoe within that Saucony trail running lineup, and it does offer quite a lot of different features, even though it does look quite similar to the Endorphin Trail. I think the first and probably the biggest difference is you have a carbon fiber plate housed within that midsole. So yep, we've got another carbon plated trail running shoe, but this time round that carbon plate does come with a slightly different design. Saucony have used a wishbone design on their carbon fiber plate, so it should offer different degrees of stiffness. So say when you're driving uphill, that plate should be a bit stiffer to offer you propulsion and to help with a bit of fatigue, especially when you're running long distances. But it's been designed in such a way that it should then become a bit more flexible when you are descending down the other side, just to soak up a bit of that downhill running impact. So it looks like a lot of thought has gone into this carbon plate design in the Endorphin Edge, and I'm hoping that this is going to be a carbon plated trail running shoe that I actually get on with. The other massive differences between the new Endorphin Edge and the Endorphin Trail has to be weight, and I think this was one of the biggest disappointments when we talk about the Endorphin Trail, because I think a lot of us were expecting this super lightweight, really responsive, exciting trail running shoe, and that's not really what Saucony delivered. But I think we're going to get exactly that with the new Endorphin Edge. Coming in at only 9 ounces or 255 grams, the Endorphin Edge is going to be the lightest trail running shoe in Saucony's 2022 lineup, even though it's got that deeply cushioned oversized midsole. When you compare it to the Endorphin Trail, weight-wise it's going to be 50 grams lighter, and that is a massive weight saving, and it really should have a big impact when it comes to the performance of the shoe. We've got a high energy returning full power run PB midsole, and the shoe is going to run off a 6mm heel offset, so high enough to give you that little bit of help when you're starting to get tired, starting to fatigue over distance, but low enough that you're going to feel nice and stable and grounded. Moving down to the outsole, and it's going to come with a 4mm lug depth, so nice and versatile as you cross over to different underfoot conditions. And we got a really good helping of power track rubber on the outsole, so super sticky, so feeling really confident on your footing on a big mix of terrains. It's due to release around August 2022, and as you can imagine, this isn't going to be a cheap trail running shoe, so going to retail for somewhere around $200. I personally think this is going to be the Endorphin Trail that we've all been waiting for. So roll on August this year so we can get them on our feet and hit the trails. So there you have it, a small selection of new and exciting trail running shoes that are going to be hitting the market this year. Obviously there's going to be loads more different shoes coming out from lots of brands, and we could have sat here for hours and hours and hours and talked all about the shoes coming out. We've got new trail offerings from New Balance, Craft, Nike, ASICS and Innovate. And speaking of Innovate, over my shoulder there in the background, we've got the new X Talon Ultra 260, which is a deeply aggressively lugged trail running shoe from Innovate, perfect for British muddy winter conditions. So we're going to be bringing you our first impressions of that shoe on the channel very soon. Also guys, don't forget to go along and watch our recently uploaded must-have road running shoes of 2022. So I've left a link in the description for that video if you want to check it out. It'd be awesome to hear from you guys. What trail running shoes are you really excited about seeing, getting on your feet and hitting the trails this year? So let us know in the comments below. If you've enjoyed the video, you know what to do guys. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and you can also follow us on our other social media platforms, whether it be Instagram, Facebook or Strava. We'd love to have you along for the journey. But for now guys, thanks for watching and supporting the channel. It's always appreciated. We will see you back here very soon, but as always, stay safe and keep on running.